the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax.
And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it here, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere?
We came here from all around the world, from DR and Ecuador and China we rode. De las montañas de Mexico a las pampas we flew. Far-flung and fast-flying, we came for the truth.
To learn all that happened, there's one who still knows, the wisest abuelita at the end of the road. She's been here forever, the Lorax she knew. For 3 kisses and hugs, she will tell it to you. Close your eyes, hijos, and listen to me. It was long in the past when this land was all trees.
This island blank is what it was called. And the first thing you noticed was the sea and the salt. Jumping and playing with fishing all looks. Long splashing marlin and fat juicy snook. El Coqui was most marvelous popping around, shocking the neighbors with its bowing sound.
The beaches were lovely and glinted with light.
So wait till you hear about the trees of all types. Maybe wolves like spiders from our swamps.
The Saiba majestic grew above us, while the burning bamboya was part of our soul.
Because of the ocean and because of the trees, there were animals thriving every place you could see. Parrots like rainbows dotted the skies, with colors so bright they could zip through your eyes.
Taunting the passers with high sassy cries. Monkeys were swinging in trees just beneath, launching themselves from green leaf to green leaf.
The hotel nibbled like squirrels on the nuts, helping trees reproduce and then feeding us. We are tiny and worked hand in hand, coexisting with the animal well as the land. You could smell roasting yuca and taste succulent yams. Munch on freshly picked corn kernels, the piñas were grand.
In Fuyan, it was rice that we grew in our fields. Paddies perched up the slope packed with plentiful fields. I loved to splash in the water that fed our fat grains, and hear the song of the frog that kept the insects at bay.
Squeech squelched went the feet as they plopped in the mud, and the children came running in one youthful flood. They helped pick the cocos and light up the flames, and the smells from our cooking I miss this day.
We always gave thanks to the earth and the sky, to the ocean's wet bases and our freshly baked pies. We were not donors of this thing or that, but one part of un cuerpo, like the heart or the back. Maybe the smells were what brought on the man, who arrived by a boat that sloshed up to our land.
He jumped with a cry from the long wooden ship, and with a swift swishing sword, he cried, "This is it."
He tapped on the tree trunks and measured their girth, and sized up the fishes to determine their worth.
But he wouldn't be satisfied just looking around, so he pulled out a shovel and dug up the ground.
Like slicing our body, he chopped into the earth with his great big hacks of his chopping galore. Then his hair stood on end and his eyeballs they rolled. He flapped and he jumped and he hooted, "There's gold!"
"Stop that right now!" said a voice of a howl. A loud voice for a creature who just wore a scowl.
"Who's this?" said the man, looking down with a smirk.
Why, I am the Lorax, and I protect all of this earth. Around here, we don't dig up the ground just to sell it. We don't strip out the gold or the water, I tell you. These resources we have are not owned by one. We share them among us, from the sea to the sun.
"Why, senor," said the man with the tiniest bow, twisting his mustache and raising his brow, "I will dig up this gold however I see fit, and if you get out of my way, you'll all soon be rich."
They came a bit later, but still reached us too. Their obsessions with gold then was all their hearts knew. When they stormed on our shores, it was all Aztec lands, but Quilalak, our leader, could not hold back their plans.
There's so much rich gold in the veins of this land that I'll call all my relatives to oversee the demand. 100 new ships came and parked on the shore, but they didn't work, they made us do the chores. When the Lorax appeared again out of the dust, they hauled him away so to silence his fuss. He hollered and shouted as they dragged him away, warning that for the theft of the land they would pay.
They built the machines as to hurry the process. Great grinders and clockers that turned up the profits, but the profits they turned up were also our losses. Trees started dying, bats started flying, and monkeys went flying to avoid being fossils.
At that time on this island, we spoke our own tongue.
Our words dancing rhythmically, just like our drums.
No more, cried the man in a sharp, raspy voice. You'll speak and you'll work and you'll live just like us.
With our defender, the Lorax, taken away, we knew we must act before it was too late. We had seen that one person cannot stand up alone. We must rise hand in hand to drive these men home. Our time was as short as a broom silver bush, as our trees were chopped and our animals pushed to the edge of extinction by great greedy invaders who would trade Mother Earth for gold-plated paper. In the dark of the night, when the conquistadors were sleeping, we came up with a plan that would send these men leaping. We didn't need money to build towards our dreams, or complex, catastrophic flying machines. We could make something greater and make something better, something fearsome and potent by working together. The Lorax did not need to be just one man. Con toda la gente, we could retake the land.
Ya en mi país, que se llama DR, we have had many Loraxes, leaders, and stars. Jose Francisco Peña Gomez spoke on behalf of the people he led. But always, I tell you, it comes back down to nos, the farmers, the workers, the bachateros.
Guarani I am, I've been sent for your wisdom. In Ecuador, we fight for our ecosystem. Ripping out massive trees rooted strong in our soil, cold, callous companies plunder earth for black oil.
No more was the Lorax a lone voice in the woods. We would all be defenders of the greater good. El para libertad, our freedom at stake. O for the oxygen we need trees to make. R for revolucion, the fight for our island. And A for amor, without love we are silent. X is the space that we've yet to discover, that we build for and grow for and work for as sisters and brothers.
Next morning broke with a sun that was scalding, scorching the gold mines and fields that were balding. Our final great palm tree has been shuttled away, and we knew that resistance must begin on that day.
We were ordered to work with a bang on their bows, handed our shovels told to dig till we bow. But this time, instead of giving into demands, we stood as one people, together held hands.
We then began spinning and making el grito, the sound of our freedom, the cry of the people. Dancing and marching, we moved across the fields, moved towards the glinting and glistening shields.
The conquistadors who were ready to hurt us to defend the plantation and factories and lines of defense. With their sword in the air, they charged at our line. screaming curses to scare us and hoping would divide.
But no matter how many of us they threw down, we stood arm in arm, not giving up ground. Little by little we pushed towards the sea. Para Madre Tierra, we sang out with glee.
It took hundreds of years, but we drove out those men. Their machines and their chains and their mouths of fence. We can finally refocus our gaze as a people.
And take in the land badly scarred from their evil. Our rivers were dirty with chemical runoff.
Our skies filled with smoke from the log chopping log off. The soil was tied down and had not a worm.
And the bees and the butterflies have still not returned.
When we spoke to our young ones, they did not understand.
As our tongue had been stolen by those word-thieving bandits.
With our fields and our hills torn to shreds by those vultures,
we faced the mountainous task of rebuilding our culture.
I am glad that you stopped by today on your journey, that your feet in this grass can be signs of your learning. Our ancestors asked me to watch over this road and to tell the young people these stories of old.
Now with your knowledge of what came before, you can help us rebuild from the peaks to the shores. With your help from our pain can be born a new world. Fresh and dewy and hopeful, we can watch it unfurl.
Plant a million new seeds to reforest our hills. With healthy soil comes clean water for our fishes' fine gills. And our farms will not grow just one crop to be sold, but all of the foods for whole bodies and souls. Together, this island will be nursed back to health, with homes for each family and community wealth. The school doors once shuttered can once again be thrown wide, with our language and history still waiting inside.
But time is not patient, so let's get to work. The Lorax is all of us, and all will be heard.